Happy Halloween, spooky gamers, and welcome to an extra spooky episode of Extreme Forge Makeover. And the reason it's a really spooky episode is because we're looking at a zombie map. Infection. Very spooky, am I right? Yeah. You guys spooked? You got you spooking your bones off, or your guts? Well, we're jumping into the Halo 3. We haven't done a Halo 3 map in a long time. And another weird thing that we're doing is we're not going on a Forge map. We're not doing Forge World or Foundry or Sandbox or anything like that. We're looking at an edit of High Grounds, I believe it's called. And another spooky thing that happened is it took 4.5 minutes to load this map. Ooh. This is an infection map that I made 10 years ago in 2009. I believe it's I made it on the 12th or something around there, but it was in October. So it's also kind of like a 10-year anniversary of this map that no one except me has ever seen before. Starting off, there's a lot of just UNSC stuff laying around. Prop placement, good, interesting prop placement is a nice way to build atmosphere and kind of do a little visual storytelling with your maps. And I like that barrier kind of cutoff area there. This is one of, I think, 3 entrances to the main base area. And there's a lot of explosives and physics objects on this level because they always just keep the map very dynamic. I really love the Havoc physics engine in that Bungie implemented for Halo 3. I think it's also in like Burnout and a few other games. But it just creates very weighty physics objects that feel like they actually are in the environment. Here's the first entrance that you're going to be guarding. There's a turret installment here, and it's kind of not as interesting as the rest of the map. These are just a few objects placed kind of haphazardly around the door to show that this area was just being defended quickly. There's a trip mine here, but the inside of this base in High Grounds is already very interesting in its like architecture. So once you seal it off, and I'll show you how I sealed it off, it becomes like an interesting, nice little hub or like base area. You'll see we have those like stone barrier things around the entrances right there, and that just kind of has this place sealed off, so it's just a nice little base for the survivors. There's a really interesting sniper weapon rack right there that we'll look at in a second. But as you can see right here with these stone things, I'll throw a grenade over here in a second to show that there's no way zombies are getting in that way, unless of course the barrier is blown up, which we'll do in a bit. So pretty much this entire area is just enclosed by these barriers, and you can only get in through a couple entrances, which are on the long ends of either part of the base. And as you can see, that thing didn't even move a pixel when we threw that grenade there, but fusion coils will move it and gravity lifts will move it. So there is one gravity lift in the survivor's place just in case they need to make a run for it or escape or something if they're being overwhelmed. But there'll be multiple ways to escape later, which I'll show off, which are based off of delayed timers. There's a lot of just really nice object placement here. Just really looks like characters are holding out here against the zombies, and just funneling through this extremely expansive like indoor area here, which is I think pretty uncommon for Halo maps, because the interior area here that leads from the beachhead on High Grounds leads all the way to the other side of the map, and that kind of connected interior isn't very common in Halo. We got some interesting little defensive things here, like these 2 weapon holders that are securing a pallet in place. And there's fusion coils on it. Something spooky is happening right here. You might think I paused it, but the video is actually having some issues. An error occurred while the film was playing. Film error. Now that's spooky right there. That's some Halloween ghoulish mischief going on. I tried to start the video again, and it says it's no longer valid. So I was just gonna assume that the Halloween ghouls, the Draculas and the Frankensteins, stole my film clip, which is pretty sad. So there isn't much theater footage after this point. That little object that fell right there is from an explosive, and we'll see where that came from in a second. But that was just footage of me trying to start another match and get some more film that way. But it still would never save my recent film history, so hopefully that fixes itself for the next map I show on my next installment of this series. But there's a lot of defenses down here and a lot of explosives that you saw. There's a giant pile of explosives right behind this turret, and that's because there's a side entrance. This isn't the explosive I was talking about, but this is another short way to break out and open up another opening, just in case the survivors want to escape. And there's a mongoose out here. There's several vehicles outside the map, but you have to leave the safety of the extremely secure base just to get to them. So I don't know if it's really worth it, but it's kind of like a risk versus reward scenario, because there's also power weapons hidden throughout the rest of the map. And of course those only really aid the survivors and not the infected, because only the survivors can pick up weapons. Here's the things I was talking about. These fusion coils spawn after, I believe, 3 minutes or so, whatever the maximum spawn time is. But after that point, these fusion coils spawn here, so either the survivors could break out, or the zombies can make it this far and maybe suicide bomb that wall to break it open, and so more zombies can get in. So the defenses kind of start whittling down over time, and that's further emphasized by the fact that weapons do not respawn on this map. All weapons are set to never respawn, so you have a very limited amount of ammo to survive in here, so you're going to want to go out and find more stuff. Here's just a side view. Here's a view of going through the back, where the zombies might kamikaze by blowing themselves up here to destroy this turret emplacement. This is one of the only real examples of an area that's not super well defended. This area would probably go really quick because of that exiting place in the back, but I'm sure there'd be a couple people with shotguns defending or something like that. But it's just interesting once you get past that point in the stairs. That place is completely sealed by those barriers for a certain amount of time, so it would be a nice little stronghold to defend it. There's a lot of objects placed out here and a lot of interesting physics things that happened at the beginning of the match, and the very little amount of theater footage I'm going to show right now, because I got this footage before the theater mode messed up, and I'm glad I did, because this is an important part of the map. I'm proud of my 15-year-old self for doing this, because this is very interesting how these physics objects interact with the environment. This is where the zombies spawn on the beachhead, right down there. There's the little piece of the fusion coil that exploded at the beginning, so this flew all the way to the other side of the map, which is weird. But yeah, the zombies spawn at the beach and all this stuff is tumbling down the hill. It kind of emphasizes this like apocalyptic survival scenario that's going, and it gets the blood pumping of the zombies to get in there and kill those survivors. And just like these physics objects that roll down, just listen to this tire that rolls past. This one. No, that's a real testament to just the amount of small details that are put into the game by Bungie. Just small details that 343 doesn't really put into the game. Like, everything here is so extremely detailed, and it just makes me call me a Bungie purist, but you know, you just don't see stuff like that in the 343 games. And there's some active camo placed here at the top of the gate. That could benefit both the survivors and the zombies. That does respawn. So a zombie might use it and try and sneak into the base with it. Or a survivor might get out and temporarily flee the zombies by using that. Here's an outdoors look at the barriers exploding. I think it's very actiony, very cool. Especially if those barriers were to fall on some zombies or a survivor or something. That would be a fun little experience for people who would be playing it. These rockets were on the little elbow stairs that lead up to this area right here. So there are rockets and shotguns and other interesting power weapons outside of the map. And you can see those barriers do not move even if you shoot a rocket and a grenade at the same time. You do need those fusion coils, so there's no way zombies are breaking their way through there. Here's a flamethrower under the stairs. I didn't actually know this was here when I was playing, and I just happened upon it when I was trying to get more footage. And it was down here, and I think that's a fun little secret kind of power weapon that'll help people defend that side area there. These sniper racks are really cool, I think. I haven't seen that in any other map, honestly. And these explosives are fun as well. We're pretty much almost done talking about the map. I'm just going to show a few more things exploding here. Just more dynamic and interesting parts of the map. Here's an example of how the zombies would take out the back part here. They would just melee this and end up getting like 2 or 3 kills. And end up taking out that infinite ammo turret installment there. Here's just an interesting example of using the gravity lift on the walls to get them out of the way. Honestly, I really like this map. I usually just show fully Forge created maps, but I think that this took High Grounds into an interesting direction and almost made it its own new thing. So I think it was worth showing off. Here's one of those shotguns I was talking about that's just outside of the map. Like, there's other weapons out there, but you'd have to brave the infected to go look at them. I guess like an endgame scenario would be braving your way to the warthogs and then going to the beach and kind of defending here because there's such a limited ammo supply. I would put more items over here probably just for like an endgame scenario, but I believe my Forge budget's very low, or you can't place any more weapons, so that's probably out of the question actually. But that's pretty much it. It's a fun little level, just showing here that the weapons do not respawn at all. And since we're done talking about the map, I'm just going to blow up this wall some more and show some more examples of the physics objects. There's a couple Covenant weapons outside of the base, but pretty much just carbines because nothing else is useful in infection. I wish the theater mode was working when I was recording this because it's really fun to be outside and see these objects explode and fall over. Like that one fell right by the mongoose. So I'm not really going to show any way I would improve the map. This is just a fun little zombie map that I wanted to show. Showing there's nothing in my recent films, so I can't show you guys any theater mode stuff. Yeah, I'm not going to improve the map in any way. I think it's just a fun little infection map. I save that for kind of Forge World things that I put together that I can really edit. This one I'd probably just move a few weapons around or change how much ammo certain weapons have or move a couple fusion coils, so it's not that interesting. Just to finish it off, I'm going to end with a really big explosion with the trip mine, a grenade, and a rocket, and just send these things really flying. And just send everything flying around, actually. And like 4 of them ended up in the middle, and chances are there's probably going to be, with a 16-player match, at least 2 zombies or so running around that area who'd get squished by that. So thanks for watching. This is just a fun little map from a decade ago in October. I don't know if I was inspired as a kid to do it for around Halloween, but I was inspired to make this video for Halloween. If you liked the video, please subscribe. I'm going to be making more in the future. I got a few more Forge maps. I got maybe 4 or 5 more Forge maps from Reach and Halo 3 that I'll be showing and making more episodes. And once I'm completely done with those and the Master Chief Collection starts making its way onto the PC, I'll be making some new Forge maps. I haven't made any new Forge maps in many years, and I'm really looking forward to it. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.